Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Newington Town Council special meeting of May 19th at 7:02 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order. If you're able to, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you, everyone. Just sorry about that. We can start the meeting with the first item after pledge, which is a roll call, please, Susan.
Yes, Councilor Anist.
Here.
Councilor Braverman.
Here.
Here.
Councilor Donahue. Councilor Menke.
Here.
Councilor Minor.
Here.
Councilor Nagel.
Here.
Mayor Del Buono.
Here.
And Councilor Braverman.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Susan. The next item on our agenda is public participation. We do have 15 attendees right now, so I'm just going to switch over to that window and see. For the members of the public that are joining us, if you'd like to be recognized and speak at our meeting, I would ask that you use the raise hand function, which is in the participants window. You can click on that, or if you're dialing in by phone, you can do *9 to raise your hand to be recognized. The first person I see with their hand.
Mayor,
Yes.
John is on the attendee list.
Oh, thank you, Councilor Badraco. Mr. Krapinski, you can pull him into the meeting, please. Looks like it's done. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you, guys. All right, the first member of the public that has their hand raised, the phone number ends in 070. I believe that may be Ms. Lyons. Let me just unmute. Okay, you can go ahead, just state your name and address for the record, please.
Hi, it's Rose Lyons, as you stated, 46 Elton Drive. At the last meeting, I had a couple of comments, and I was wondering if anybody had gotten any information. I thought that I had read in the minutes regarding the plans for Mill Pond Park that it was approximately $8 million and a balance of $4 million in the future CIP request. I would ask that if you haven't gotten an answer to that at some point in time you get an answer. As I said at the town hall rental meetings a couple of years ago, that if any monies are going to be spent out of CIP, that the public should be made aware of it before we go to referendum. The other thing I was wondering is there's a copy of the plan and the cost for that plan on the website anywhere, the town website. The second comment that I made the last time was about the CIP, and I'm a little concerned about the Chromebooks. I'm getting the feeling that they're not going to be in the CIP for this year. And at last week's, I think it was last week's meeting, Councilor Camillo stated that at a CIP meeting, he asked Lou Giacomowitz about it, and he said that there was no other place to put it. It doesn't, and this is quote from the minutes, it doesn't meet the criteria, and now with the pandemic, schools are being used as much, and there may be a surplus. Don't know that for a fact, but maybe money can come out of that to fund it later, not put back in right now. And then I went back to the CIP meeting, and Mr. Camillo did ask the question regarding the Chromebooks because the cost is $250 plus cover, and he was given an answer by, I think it was Lisa Radecki, that explained that the CIP fund is the only place that funds can be accumulated and flow year to year. Since this is a reserve account, CIP is the appropriate place. So I'm just wondering, seeing someone from finance said it was the appropriate place, where are we coming up with the idea that it isn't? And if it isn't, which maybe it shouldn't be, can we have an explanation as to why it shouldn't be in there? Okay, thank you very much. I look forward to hearing what you have to say and continue with the meeting. I'm done. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ms. Lyons. I'm just looking to our attendees. If anyone would like to participate, please use the raise hand function in the participants box or dial *9 if you're attending by phone. Okay, I don't see any other members of the public raising their hand at this time. So we will move into our agenda. The next item is remarks by counselors on public participation. Counselors, please remember to use the raise your hand function as well. It just makes it a little bit easier. All right, I don't see anyone raising their hand. Oh, I do. Counselor Camillo.
At the time during the CIP meeting, I believe that whatever gets funded through CIP has to last 7 years. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And the Chromebooks don't last 7 years, and that's why they don't belong there.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Anist?
Yes, thank you. I had sent a request to the town manager regarding the Chromebooks and versus the technology that we have for the town. If there was anything from the technology from the town that didn't meet the criteria, but and I haven't gotten a response to that. So I was wondering if we can get a response to that. But saying that, it is the only place that we can have a reserve with an accumulation. And I think that was the explanation back in 2012, and we're still waiting to get an answer regarding that. And, you know, I hope at some time we can get a definitive answer why it was put there. It might not fit there, but there must have been some thought behind it when it was done in 2012.
Thank you, Counselor Anist. Counselor Nagel? Go ahead.
I didn't know whether I was muted or not. Mr. Camillo was faster than I was. Yes, it does not meet the criteria in terms of life expectancy, and it was our committee did not recommend it to be included. And as far as I know, to this point, it is not included. Whether funds are going to be used from elsewhere, from what Ms. Lyons mentioned, may or may not be the fact, since I can't speak to whatever may be negotiated, but it is not in the CIP as a recommended, or I believe in our budget recommended at the moment.
Thank you, Counselor Nagel. I will say I was in attendance at those CIP meetings this time around, and my recollection was that there was a Board of Ed member on the CIP committee that actually requested that they be taken out of CIP. From my understanding, he was the one that brought it to the attention of the committee, and also and said that, he didn't feel it belonged there. Counselor Nagel?
I just want to agree that's true. Yes.
Thank you. All right, any other remarks by counselors on public participation? Okay, seeing none, we will move into consideration of old business. And the first item is a Board of Education MOU non-lapsing account. In your packet, you should have received an explanation as well as a draft copy of an MOU. Essentially, in the past, the town council had set up an agreement with the Board of Education to allow for a non-lapsing account each year. If there was a surplus up to 1% of their total budget, they were able to put it into this account in order to save and use it for things that they might want to purchase or do out of this account. The proposal in front of us this evening, and we did have Ms. Brummett join us at our last meeting briefly just to express her agreement with this, was that the Board of Education had requested, in addition to what is currently the town council proposed budget, an additional $590,355 that the town manager had removed from the budget before passing it to the council. What's before you this evening is an agreement that we need to consider authorizing our town manager to enter into with the superintendent of schools. This agreement would allow a one-time additional contribution of that $590,355. As Counselor Camillo, I think, alluded to, the Board of Education has indicated to us that they are anticipating a surplus at the end of this year, primarily due to the COVID closure. They're hoping that it will be $1.5 to $2 million. That's not certainly a solid figure yet. We don't know what the next few weeks can hold. But given that, they would like the ability to put the extra $590,355 into that non-lapsing account for future use for their needs, which I would imagine the Chromebooks could possibly possibly come out of that account if they see fit. So you have in front of you the draft language for the MOU that indicates it would be an additional 0.79%. It's a one-time addition to that account for now. So the 1% that they're always allowed, in addition to that, a 0.79%, which equals that 593.55. After this year, it would revert back to the previous agreement of 1%, and that this agreement should not be considered a precedent. This is simply a one-time agreement. So with that explanation, I'll open it up to questions or comments by counselors. Counselor Bedrejko.
$1.5 million savings as a result of the COVID crisis. Does that fit into this at all? I mean, what's the agreement with that? Is that supposed to return to the town?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I should have stated that.
And
So
is that an understand? Is that implicit in this MOU?
So it's by charter. Our charter requires that if there's a surplus at the end of the year, that the Board of Education would return it to the general fund. So we are going to assume that that will happen, just because that's the way business is done in our town. So the agreement is simply just that we would allow them to save a little bit extra this year out of the surplus, and then the additional surplus would revert back to the general fund as by the town charter.
Okay, and how, I mean, will we be notified or informed of what that additional surplus is, and when and how much will be expected to be returned? I mean, because in the past, quite frankly, the communication hasn't been that solid. And I'm hoping that it's, it does seem like, Dr. Brummett is a different animal, and she will cooperate with us, but there is a little bit of hesitancy there. So if there's some way that we can kind of monitor exactly what has been spent, what is left, and what can be returned.
So certainly Mr. Chapman and our financial director, Ms. Murphy, I think is on the line as well. You could certainly keep us posted on how that transpires over the next couple of months before the end of the fiscal year.
Yes, we will do that. It probably will not be completed and fully understood until the end of the year. But once we know the figures and we are confirmed with those figures, we will let the council know that, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Bedrejko. Councilor Menke.
Yes, I just think this is a great opportunity for both the town and town council and the Board of Education to work together. Hopefully the start of a new era of cooperation between those two bodies to do what's best for the town. This gives the Board of Ed some extra money to go into the next fiscal year with, and it helps relieve our taxpayers' burden for taxes. So I think it's a great approach for both parties, and it does. Hopefully, to me, it spells a new cooperation between both the board and the town. Instead of being adversaries all the time, we can work together to come up with some solutions that to both of our concerns. So I would welcome this.
Thank you, Councilor Menke. Any other council comment? Councilor Camillo?
I agree with Tim. Thank you, Dr. Brummett. This was a lot easier than I witnessed in the past, and hopefully this moving forward will happen in years to come.
Thank you, Councilor Camillo. I will say that, the budget season is never really, I can't ever say it's fun. It's challenging each and every year. But this year, in talking with our Board of Ed chair, as well as Dr. Brummett, it really was a pleasure to work with them and try and figure things out together and come to this agreement. I'm really pleased that we're able to, help the Board of Ed achieve what they'd like to achieve, but at the same time, not raise taxes to achieve it. And so part of their budget will go toward taxes, but this extra amount, it's less of a tax burden to our residents, and it allows the Board of Ed to do what they'd like to do. I think it's a nice compromise, and I'm really grateful that the Board of Education and Dr. Brummett were willing to work on this with us. So that being said, we do have a resolution in our packet. Who would like to read that into the record for us? Councilor Camillo?
Resolved that the Newington Town Council authorizes Town Manager Keith Chapman to execute a modified memorandum of understanding, an MOU, between the Town of Newington and the Board of Education regarding the Board of Education non-elapsing account to allow for an additional current year contribution of 0.79% or $590,355 for the budget year ending June 30th, 2020, a copy of which shall be attached to this resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Anist. Any further discussion on this item? Okay, seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote, please.
Braverman? Hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Susan. You were breaking up a little. Try again.
Okay, Counselor Anist,
Yes.
Counselor Braverman, Counselor Budraco,
Yes.
Counselor Camillo,
Yes.
Counselor Donahue,
Yes.
Counselor Menke,
Yes.
Counselor Minor,
Yes.
Counselor Nagel,
Yes.
Mayor Del Buono,
Yes.
Counselor Braverman.
Yes.
Counselor Braverman, are you there?
Yes,
Yes.
I'm here. Yes.
Okay.
9-0, passed.
Okay, wonderful. Motion passes 9-0. That's great news. I'm so pleased about that. All right, we will move on to the next item on our agenda, which is adjustments to tentative budget fiscal year 2020 to 2021. I'll open the floor up. Are there any additional adjustments? In our packets, there are a few that we need to do. I'm looking to the minority leader, Ms. Annis. Do you have any adjustments to bring forward from your?
No, we do not.
And Majority Leader Counselor Menke, do you have any adjustments to bring forward?
We have no adjustments either.
Thank you. We do have a few in our packet that we need to go ahead and address. The first one is, oh, you know what? I'm wrong. I'm sorry. These are next items. I'm thinking they fall under this item, so I apologize. So seeing that we have none under item B, we will move on to item C, which is adoption of operating budget for fiscal year 2020, 2021. Am I correct on that, Janet? Ms. Murphy, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. You're correct.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I see the capital improvement resolution, but I didn't see the the adoption one first in the packet.
Yep, the only changes that you're going to be looking at is to the projects under the school CIP.
Okay. So for item C, where it says adoption of operating budget for fiscal year, is there a resolution for that in the packet prior to the CIP improvement?
Yes, James has it on the screen right now.
Oh, okay. I don't believe it's in the packet.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I thought I was missing something. Okay. Perfect. Thank you, James and Ms. Murphy. All right, so we will go ahead and have someone read that into the record. Counselor Menke, would you do that for us?
Certainly. Resolved. Resolved that the following general fund appropriations of the town of Newington are hereby adopted for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2020 and ending June 30th, 2021, in accordance with section 805 of the Charter of the Town of Newington. Appropriations. Town government operations. General government, $5,265,400. $5,265,400 and there we go, 38. Public safety, $9,466,343. Public works, $5,494,009. Community planning and development, $480,302. Public health, $200,333. Community services, $1,000,000 $89,364. Public Library, $1,849,577. Parks and Recreation, $1,863,885. Insurance and miscellaneous, $12,680,277. Debt services, no, that's for a total of $38,389,528. Debt services, $2,482,598. Metropolitan District, $4,823,600. Capital improvements, $2,288,204. Equipment reserve, $897,400. Employee leave liability reserve fund, $67,000. Board of Education, $76,768,011. Total appropriations, $125,716,341.
Second.
Right, I gotta finish. Be it further resolved that in accordance with the general section, with section 805 of the charter of the town of Newington, the following general fund estimated revenue be raised to meet these requirements. Estimated revenues, current taxes, $94,233,116. Property taxes, prorated taxes, $1,130,637. Prior year's taxes, $375,000. Liens, interest and liens, $195,000. Motor vehicle tax, $8,284,546. Payments in lieu of taxes, $1,984,600. Assessments, $15,300. License and permits, $284,500. Rentals, $97,000. Investment income, $300,000. Fines, $22,000. Charges for services, $544,875. Refunds and reimbursements, $30,000. Sale of town property, $5,020. State aid, $15,485,881. Federal aid, $9,000. Miscellaneous, $60,000. Transfer from other funds, $159,866, for a total of $123,216,341. General fund balance applied, $2,500,000. $500,000. Total estimated revenues and fund applied to balance, $125,716,341.
Keep going.
Oh, this one.
There's another page.
Yeah, he keeps moving these pages on me. Okay. Be it further resolved that the clerk is hereby instructed to place the accompanying general fund budget summary on the record of this meeting to illustrate the above appropriations and revenue estimates. Be it further resolved that the following budget is hereby adopted for the public school capital improvement projects reserve fund for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2020 to June 30th, 2021. Appropriations, painting, $25,000. Carpeting, $25,000. District-wide security and safety, $25,000. District-wide furniture replacement, $25,000. Technology equipment, $50,000. System-wide HVAC installation, $25,000. Athletic improvements, $25,000. District-wide playground renovations, $15,000. District-wide lighting improvements, $15,000. District-wide corridor and exterior doors, $25,000. District-wide roof reserve, $25,000. District-wide blacktop paving, $115,000. District-wide vehicles, $25,000. District-wide building systems and controls, $25,000. District-wide environmental services, $25,000. District-wide sidewalk and concrete, $15,000. District-wide electrical infrastructure, $15,000. Total appropriations, $500,000. And we continue. Estimated revenues. General fund appropriations, $125,000. Interest earnings, $2,000. Tuition receipts, $200,000. School rental receipts, $73,000. Public school capital improvement program fund balance, $100,000. Total estimated revenues and applied fund balance, $500,000.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Anist. Any discussion on this?
Yeah, Tim, can you read that again for us?
Yeah, you might want to go through it one more time.
Yeah.
I think I skipped the decimal point someplace.
This is one of those times where being mayor is fabulous because I can't call on myself to read a resolution. So I just wanted to say before we pass, certainly this has been, as always, it's difficult doing a budget, but certainly doing it via Zoom and not being in person and being able to meet and have, you know, face-to-face discussions made this an even more challenging time of year for us, I think. So I want to thank the council for all of your deliberations on Zoom, in breakout rooms, in all kinds of executive session Zooms and everything that we had to do to accomplish coming together tonight with a budget to present for consideration. So thank you to everyone for that. I know we still have to take the vote. So I see Councilor Mankey has his hand up. Councilor Mankey?
Yeah, we just echo that. I think certainly doing the budget over Zoom is much more difficult. It's better to sit around the table and see each other face to face. But I was struck by the cooperation of all parties to get this done, and the extra time that we had to put in to do this in this manner that took a little bit more effort and more use of technology than we're probably used to. But I do think it's a good budget for the town. It keeps our taxes at a neutral rate, but it also tries to provide some of the services and even improve some of the areas of services. So I think it's a win-win all around.
Councilor Pedrejko?
Yeah, I just want to say that obviously I'll be supporting this budget. And just, you know, given the fiscal realities that we're in, not only what we know, but what we don't know, I think this is a very responsible budget for the times that we're facing. And we are joining other communities such as New Britain, West Hartford, and Middletown, who have passed budgets without any tax increases because they know that they need to ease the financial burdens on taxpayers.
Mm-hmm.
And there are going to be an awful lot of unknowns in the fiscal year ahead. And actually, the economic pundits, they're comparing the future, or they're saying that, you know, the state's going to be billions of dollars in debt and the federal government will be trillions of dollars in debt, and money's not going to be flowing as easily as it did before. There's not going to be as many grants and handouts, and there's certainly not going to be the type of monies available for projects and programs that we've come to kind of take for granted and expect that, you know, well, we'll get funded by the feds, we'll get funded by the state. So as cooperatively, you know, bipartisanly, we were looking at the budget. I think we all kept that in mind, and we'll keep this in mind as we move forward. So again, I think it's a responsible budget. It preserves essential services and gives even a little bit more. Yet I do believe it puts us in a better position to kind of prepare for some of the challenges that come ahead. So I thank everybody for working on this.
Thank you, Councilor Pedrejko. Any other council comment? Okay, we'll go to a roll call vote, please. Ms. Gibbon?
Counselor Anist,
Yes.
Counselor Braverman, Counselor Rico,
Yes.
Counselor Camillo,
Yes.
Counselor Donahue,
Yes.
Counselor Mankey, Counselor Minor,
Yes.
Counselor Nagel,
Yes.
Mayor Del Buono,
Yes.
Counselor Braverman, And Counselor
Yes.
Mink?
Yeah, yes.
Pass 9-0.
9-0. Thank you, each and every one of you. We really, that's something that we passed a 9-0 budget. I'm very proud of the collaboration, very appreciative. Thank you, everyone. All right, we will move on now to adoption of long-range capital improvement plan 2020-2021 through 2024-2025. We have a resolution in our packets. We've all been provided with the draft copy of this document for review. We've had plenty of time to go over it. So I will go ahead and entertain the motion, please.
Okay, I'll read it if you want.
Thank you, Councilor Draco.
Resolved, the Newington Town Council hereby adopts the Town of Newington Long Range Capital Improvement Plan 2020 through 2021 through 2024 to 2025, a final copy of which will be on the file in the town clerk's office. Note, this vote is binding only for the funds committed for fiscal year 2020-2021. The proposed funding for 2021 to 2022 through 2024-2025 is for planning purposes only and is subject to change through future budget deliberations.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Banky. Discussion on this item. Okay, seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote, please.
Counselor Anist?
Yes.
Counselor Braverman? Counselor Draco?
Yes.
Counselor Camillo?
Yes.
Counselor Donahue?
Yes.
Counselor Mankey?
Yes.
Counselor Minor?
Yes.
Counselor Nagel?
Yes.
Mayor Del Buono?
Yes.
Counselor Braverman?
Yes.
Thank you. Passes 9-0.
Thank you, Ms. Gibbon.
You're welcome.
All right. We have the next item on our agenda is to set the mill rate. There is a resolution in the packet, but I will have Ms. Murphy join us to help us fill in the blank, so to speak. We need to know what our current mill rate is based on the adjustments that were made over the last several weeks.
Your current mill rate would be 39.28.
Okay. I'd like someone to read that resolution in for us, please. Counselor Anist.
Sure. Resolved, in accordance with Section 805 of the Town Charter of the Town of Newington, the Town Council hereby fixes a tax rate of 39.28 mils for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2020 and ending June 30th, 2021, which shall be levied on taxable real and personal properties and motor vehicle property in the Town of Newington listed on the October 1st, 2019 grand list, and said tax shall become due and payable in accordance with Section 43-1 of the Newington Code of Ordinances. The town manager is hereby authorized to make out and sign the rate bill in accordance with this motion.
And a second?
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Nagel. Discussion on this item. Deputy Mayor Bedrejko.
Yeah, just for the public's sake, can you reiterate what the current mill rate is so they can see the difference?
The current mill rate is 39.45. If I'm incorrect in any way, Ms. Murphy, feel free to jump in. So that would be a decrease, I believe, of 0.17. Is there any further discussion on this item? Okay, I'll just say I am very pleased, not only with the collaboration, but with the efforts made to maintain a mill rate that, we know we're going into a very difficult fiscal year. We don't know what it will behold us in the upcoming year. We really just don't know with the COVID crisis at hand and what that's going to look like long term. So I'm really pleased that we were able to decrease our mill rate slightly and really try to be conscious of what our residents need from us in this difficult time. And so, we know there's going to be a lot of challenges ahead, but I think this is a good first step for us as a council in a unified way to go ahead and do this for our residents. Counselor Mankey, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't also recognize our town manager who put together the budget almost as we passed it now. And all the department heads, all of his staff and the people that work for the town who really gave some serious thought to their budgets this year, knowing the conditions we were facing. And we should just acknowledge them too. That a lot of hard work goes into doing a budget. And it's important that we acknowledge everybody who had a part in it.
Thank you, Counselor Mankey.
Agreed.
Thank you, Counselor Donahue. Yeah, I would just echo that. A big thank you to Town Manager Chapman, who really hit the ground running, jumped in right at the very beginning of this budget season and put together and brought us a budget that was very fiscally responsible and really made our jobs that much easier to follow through on this budget. So thank you to Mr. Chapman. Thank you to all of his staff that helped prepare this budget and get it ready for us and make these adjustments on the fly with us as we go and try to get this done. So thank you to everyone involved. Any other council comment or question, concern? Seeing none, we'll go ahead with the roll call vote, please.
Counselor Annis,
Yes.
Counselor Braverman,
Yes.
Counselor Draco,
Yes.
Counselor Camillo,
Yes.
Hugh,
Yes.
Counselor Mankey,
Yes.
Counselor Minor, Counselor Nagel,
Yes.
Mayor Del Buono,
Yes.
Counselor Minor.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0.
Wonderful. Thank you, Susan, and thank you, everyone. We will move on to the next item on our agenda, which is the annual appointment of auditor. Ms. Murphy, do you want to speak to this one?
Sure. Last year, we went out to RFP with the audit committee to select the auditor. We were required to do it every 3 to 4 years. We did it. We chose Bloom Shapiro as was our auditor prior to that. And this is the second year of the contract of a 4-year contract that they have with us. We're required by charter every year to reappoint our auditor.
Thank you for that explanation. We did discuss this at our last meeting. Is there any council question or comment? Seeing none, we'll go to the roll call vote, please.
You gotta read the resolution.
I have to read a resolution.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Councilor Annis, since you brought it to my attention, how about you read that for us? Thank you.
Resolved per section 610 of the Newington Town Charter, the firm of Bloom Shapiro is hereby appointed as auditor for the town of Newington for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2020. Said firm agrees to file a complete report on or before December 15th, 2020.
Second.
Thank you. Seconded by Councilor Camillo. Any discussion on this? All right. Seeing none, we'll go ahead for the roll call vote.
Counselor Annis,
Yes.
Counselor Braverman,
Yes.
Counselor Budraco,
Yes.
Counselor Camillo,
Yes.
Counselor Donahue,
Yes.
Counselor Mankey,
Yes.
Counselor Minor,
Yes.
Counselor Nagel,
Yes.
Mayor Del Buono.
Yes.
Matt passes 9-0.
Thank you, Ms. Gibbon.
You're welcome.
And we will move on now. That concludes, oh no, we have one more item, sorry. The cancellation of the May 26th regular meeting. So we have had a number of meetings recently and we are pretty caught up with our current business. So we are looking to entertain a motion to consider cancellation of the May 26th, 2020 regular meeting of the Town Council. As always, if there were business that should arise in the next week that we needed to have a meeting, we could certainly call a special meeting if this meeting is canceled tonight. And we can go ahead and conduct our business in that fashion. There is a resolution in the packet. Councilor Donahue, would you like to read it for us?
I will. Resolved that the Newington Town Council hereby amends its approved meeting schedule by canceling its regular meeting schedule for May 26th, 2020.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Mankey. Any discussion on this? All right, seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote, please.
Counselor Anist,
Yes.
Counselor Braverman,
Yes.
Counselor Boudreaux,
Yes.
Counselor Camillo,
Yes.
Counselor Donahue,
Yes.
Counselor Menke,
Yes.
Counselor Minor,
Yes.
Counselor Nagel,
Yes.
Mayor Del Buono.
Yes,
Motion passes 9-0.
wonderful, thank you. All right, so that concludes our old business. We'll move in now to new business, and the only item under new business this evening is Mill Pond Park Pool Public Building Committee creation for our consideration this evening. In our packet, we do have a memo regarding at our last meeting, we had a presentation from the Parks and Rec Board from Mr. DeMayo regarding possible improvements to Mill Pond Park Pool. And they are asking us to consider putting together a building committee for their, so they can go ahead with the work that's needed to move that forward as a possible project. The consideration that they had mentioned to us was that given the COVID crisis right now, they believe there may be monies available for shovel-ready projects in the future, and they really are just hoping to be ready should funds become available to have a project ready to go. That's how it was presented to us. Mr. Chapman, do you have anything to add to that or any other explanation?
No, I think, the memo in your explanation covers it all. It's basically just planning ahead for possible opportunity.
Okay, thank you. In our packet, we do have a resolution with a draft of suggested makeup of the committee. The resolution does show 3 town council representatives, 2 Board of Parks and Recreation representatives, and then there are 3 empty spots there that I'm thinking would be members of the public, perhaps, but I will open it up to discussion. Councilor Anist.
All right, thank you. I know in the past, I mean, number one, the way that with the 3 blanks, that's 8. And the other 2 building committees that are in effect right now, we have 2 counselors, 2 members, Anna Reynolds from the Board of Ed, and then 3 public. I would like to see the same makeup, so there'd be a 7-member building committee.
Okay. Other council thoughts or comment? Councilor Menke?
Yeah, the representatives from Parks and Rec would be chosen by Parks and Rec, and there'd be 1 Republican, 1 Democrat.
Yes.
Okay.
Same thing for the council. It'd be 1 Democrat, 1 Republican.
Right.
And then for the public, it'd be 2 Republicans and 1 Democrat.
Okay. Just so we're clear what the makeup.
Yep. That's what we're proposing.
Right.
Councilor Donahue?
Yeah, I just always get, we're gonna, if we approve this building committee tonight, I don't want the public to think that we're, starting a building committee, there's a foregone conclusion and that's gonna override our report that we're waiting for in November. It's just so they can start putting a board together, but this isn't a done deal. It's not a project.
Valid point. Councilor Boudreaux?
Yeah, actually, I want to basically restate what Councilor Donahue said is I have no problem with putting a building committee in place, but I don't, at this point, I'm not comfortable, and I don't want to give the public or anybody the expectation that because a plan will be developed, that this is going to jump to the head of the line in terms of what needs to be done. Again, I mean, even our town manager had said last night at our meeting that the future, the funds may not be, it's not this. Many economists are saying this is not. This economic situation is closer to the Great Depression than it is to 2008 recession, and there's there's going to be a lot of effort needed to support areas that have been truly impacted in terms of essential services. There's going to be money that's going to have to go to, education models might change, the way schools operate, helping to retrain workers that have been furloughed, permanently, helping small businesses recover, businesses that have gone bankrupt or closed. assessing impacts to burned out workers, because you know that there's going to be either kind of lawsuits or health issues, whatever. So in my estimation, and some people say that some of the funding and the grants, it's not going to be thrown at aspirational infrastructure projects. It's going to be doing hands-on social services need to get essential services done. So I think it's a good idea to get prepared and to think broadly about what our priorities and programming has to be. And certainly we know that Mill Pond is one of them, our pools and parks. But we've had a library committee, building committee sitting for as long as I've been on the council. Now, is that in existence? Is that still a need? I don't know. Should they be getting going and, pretty quickly, the fire department, whatever. So in any case, we're going to be asking taxpayers at some point to fund some important projects. When taxpayers are going to have less money in their pockets, the town is going to have less money coming in to their coffers, and there's going to be less likely, money coming in grants. So at this point, putting a building is fine, but I don't really think that there's got to be an understanding. It's not going to jump to the head of the line. And we really need to know how we stand in terms of overall infrastructure, which we've made a good deal by getting a consultant there. Their study is going to be done by the end of the year, and waiting for the results of everything. And then when and if the time comes where there's going to be monies available, we'll be able to put our priorities in order. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Bedrejko. Councilor Mankey.
Yeah, I would just also point out that while we're looking for what they call shovel-ready projects, this is far from being able to put a shovel in the ground tomorrow and start digging a pool. An expenditure of this size would have to go to the town in some form of referendum at some point. So the town will have a chance to weigh in on this, whether it's something they want to commit their tax dollars to or not. So just because I don't want people to think that being shovel ready, we're ready to, to start digging the hole tomorrow once we pass this. And somebody lays out on the ground the chalk marker where the pool's going to go. It's going to take a while to work through the system and actually get it so that it gets ready to present to the town, who ultimately have the say in what goes forward, whether they prove it or not. Would be up to the town, up to the voters.
Thank you, Councilor Mankey. Councilor Nagel.
Yes, I just want to reiterate about what Councilor Bedrejko mentioned, that the library does have a committee that I believe is still in existence, but it is waiting in abeyance for the right time and appropriateness in order to reactivate itself and move forward. I do think that indeed there are too many unknowns in our future and in the future of the country, let alone the town in terms of expenditures, to think that something of this nature would be of the utmost importance. I'm not against it, but in terms of forming a committee, but I do think we should be wary about the monies coming forth from other places. And I also want to emphasize that the public should be aware that, yes, we do have a facilities survey going on, and indeed it may show that the needs for us going to referendums may be more important in other areas than here. And I agree with other councilors who've mentioned that indeed don't think if we do approve of this resolution, no matter how many people are on it in what configuration or not, that indeed it is something that pushes it way to the top of the list, so to speak.
Thank you, Councilor Nagel. Any other council comment? Okay, so I'm going to throw it out there just for a quick consensus. Is everyone okay having the resolution read in as was suggested by Councilor Annis?
This is only new business right now.
Right.
Oh, you're right. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
So it's for consideration at our next meeting. So any further discussion on the makeup of the committee for consideration prior to the next meeting?
I just don't see this. I don't see where it says there's 3 public spots.
So Counselor Mankey, you have your hand up, and then Counselor Anist.
Yeah, I think this is okay, or for me anyway, as long as it specifies the Parks and Rec Board is one Republican, one Democrat. And then we should just spell out the party, just so it's clear to everybody when we go ahead and finally approve this our next meeting.
Right, and then those 3 spots at the bottom would be members of the public with
Correct.
one Democratic member and 2 Republican members.
Correct.
Counselor Annis?
Oh, there it is.
That's how it goes. It's minority representation. So as with all the boards and commissions, you would get the 1 more seat. So we can definitely put, spell it out for the Board of Ed, for the Parks and Rec, Town Council. I'm all confused here. But yeah, that's how it would be. It would be 4-3.
All right, any other council thoughts or comments? Seeing none, we'll move on to written and oral communications from the town manager. Mr. Chapman, do you have anything for us?
I have nothing tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is public participation on the agenda items only, as this is a special meeting. We have a 3-minute time limit. If you are a member of the public and would like to be recognized, please raise your hand. You can do so in the participants screen, or if you're dialing in by pressing *9. And let me just get over there. Let's see. Okay, we have Ms. Lyons on with us. If you could just officially state your name and address again for the record.
Rose Lyons, 46 Elton Drive. I'd like to thank the counselors that explained that even though a building committee is being formed, that does not mean that the project is going forward. You saved me about 2 minutes in my time limit. I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but I just want to make you aware of the fact that I am well aware of the criteria for the CIP, the 25,000 and the 7-year use. Begs the question, did anyone go through and verify that all the Hello? Begs
Ms.
the
Lyons,
question.
can you repeat that last part? We lost you there for a minute.
I thought so. I just said that I'm well aware of the $25,000 dollar amount and the 7-year use in the CIP. I'm just wondering if everybody went through and line by line looked at all the projects, especially parks, recs, and parks, pools, and playgrounds. They get a dollar amount, but they never spell out what they're going to do with that money. I wasn't questioning the criteria. I was just stating that it was Lisa, not Lou, that was asked the question or gave an answer. And it just makes me even more adamant that I believe that there should be some guidelines, rules to follow with CIP other than just the criteria. I've said it before and I'll say it again every year that I go, and it's been for the last 10 years, it all changes. The rules change, and never have I seen a Board of Ed member request that money be taken out of CIP. I wonder if it was run by the superintendent of schools, if she was informed, if the Board of Ed was aware that he intended to make the motion or make the suggestion that they take the Chromebooks out of the CIP. Like I said, I've never seen this done before. Our IT department puts money aside. Whether or not that fits the criteria, I don't know. But I just would hope that whether you have to have a subcommittee or some kind of consensus of opinion, that you can do what you do with the CIP, then I would feel more comfortable every year when new people come on board and make suggestions that they know what is allowed and what is not allowed. Thank you very much for your hard efforts in getting the budget together this year. You've been under a lot of pressure. I'm sure that all of you have a lot of things going on in your life, and the time that you take for this town is muchly appreciated. And that being said, I'd also like to give a shout out to NCTV, and I don't know whether it's Patty Foley or who it may be that is providing us with the video portion of this on NCTV, but I do appreciate it. Thank you again. Take care. Stay well. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ms. Lyons. You as well.
Thank you.
I'm looking at our attendees to see if anyone else would like to speak. I don't see any raised hands right now. We'll give it just a second more. Okay, I don't see anyone raising their hand right now, so we'll move on to the next item, which is remarks by counselors. Okay. Oh, Counselor Donahue.
Yeah, just want to respond to Rose Lyons. Rose, it's always a team effort down at NCTV to get all this stuff on the air. So, thank you for the kudos, though.
Any other council comment? I will say Ms. Lyons is a well-versed member of the public in our CIP plan. And I have to say, after having been chairman of that committee in the past and having served on it a few times, I do think that there is some work to be done. As a council, we have talked to Mr. Chapman a little bit about this, and I think he has some thoughts on how to improve the process and the plan in the future. So I would say stay tuned to how we move forward. I would hope that we do a lot of work on improving the CIP process in the coming months, way before we get into our next budget, so that it's not at the last minute. And that is a hope, and that is something we will work on with the town manager, Mr. Chapman, to hopefully improve that process. Councilor Nagel.
Yes, I previously have said that I wasn't particularly fond of the CIP and the way it had moved and the confusion involving it. So I concur, Mayor Del Buono, that indeed things need to be done with it. And I know with Mr. Chapman's help, we'll be able to improve it and make it clearer and make it hopefully what it was intended to be in the first place.
Thank you, Councilor Nagel. All right, I don't see any other hands raised. So the next, I'm sorry, Mr. Chapman.
I just ask that you remind everybody about the state of the town tomorrow.
Thank you. The State of the Town address is tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. The Chamber of Commerce is sponsoring it. We will be meeting at a local company called Vision Point, who is doing the AV work for the town hall. And this is going to be an opportunity for us to see the type of technical work that they can do and what we can look forward to with the new town hall. We are cooperating and working collaboratively with NCTV so that it will be broadcast through NCTV as well. And if you go to the Chamber of Commerce's website, I know on their site, they have all of the links and what we need in order to get on to watch the presentation, and it will be rebroadcast. It will be broadcast live as well as rebroadcast by NCTV as well. Am I right in saying that, Mr. Donahue?
You are correct.
All right. So thank you for reminding me, Mr. Chapman. Mr. Chapman and I have been working together and have quite a nice presentation for tomorrow morning. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll go well. Anyone else? Hold on, I'm on the wrong screen, so I'm not seeing your hands, but I see you guys. Deputy Mayor Bedrejko.
Yes, I just want to say that, I think this is Memorial Day weekend coming up, isn't it? But I'm going to miss each and every one of you walking down Main Street for the parade. Hopefully next year we'll all be able to do it, or there'll be some other kind of parade we can go in, but happy Memorial Day to everybody and to all the residents.
Thank you. Councilor Camillo?
For everyone that's watching, tomorrow, Tom Gill is coming home after 59 days in the hospital.
Woo!
And there'll be quite a procession, lots of people. So if you're wondering what's going on, it's Tom coming home. And all our prayers for him. So, thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. That's great news. Anyone else?
Did you? Did you mention the volunteer dinner yesterday?
Oh no! Thank you for the reminder. The Senior and Disabled Center had their annual volunteer dinner yesterday, and just an incredible show of thinking outside of the box. Diane Stone and her crew over at the Senior and Disabled Center had 15 volunteers that were driving around town handing out the meals to our volunteers to thank them for their efforts over the past year. So the meals were provided from the Italian Gourmet, I believe it was the chicken dinner. So 15 people drove all over town delivering those meals to our, I think it was almost 100 volunteers that were honored overall. So it was really a wonderful Zoom conference. Way to do it, even though we can't get together, but still letting everybody know how much we appreciate their efforts in volunteerism and how much it impacts our town and how much we appreciate it. Thank you for reminding me, Mr. Donahue. Anything else? Okay, next item is a motion to adjourn. Who'd like to do that?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion made by Counselor Camillo in a second.
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Nagel. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. We stand adjourned at 8:03. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
All
you.
right. Take it
Stay
easy.
safe.
Memorial Day weekend.
Happy Memorial Day.